people, here we go. Revolution number 6. See how that goes? I got my timer started. I'm at 15 minutes. I stopped on states' rights, a massive stop of non-voluntary compliance. That could spark it. Another thing that could spark it is states' rights. If the states start leaving the federal government, which I would praise and hope, we keep hearing about Texas wanting to secede. We want to get out of the union. As soon as states start figuring out, you know what? We don't need bureaucrats in Washington totally controlling our state. And that's what they're doing now. They're flooding us with Syrian refugees. States, shut up. You don't have a choice. We're giving you federal money. Shut up. You don't have a choice. We're telling you what you'll teach in school. Shut up. You don't have a choice. We're doing everything from up here because we're smarter and better than you stupid idiots that run your states. And if we have a state like Texas that is prosperous with conservative values and not this liberal bullshit, what do? The federal government says, we're going to pass federal law, you're losing your school fundings if you don't have bathrooms where boys and girls can go together and say they're opposite sex and they're confused, and we have to support the idiots and the mentally ill because they don't know what freaking sex they are because they can't check their own damn package and figure out they got a penis or something else. So the government will obviously keep forcing their agenda, and states hopefully will say, I've had enough. And if the people in the states would elect people that run on that platform, we're getting out of the federal government. We're done. They are out of it. We're not accepting their money. We don't want their input. We'll secure our own damn border. We'll keep people out and we'll decide who the hell comes in. And if the federal government sticks their nose in, we'll run their ass out. There's no federal authority here. If you come in here, we're going to arrest you and put you in our jail and in our prison. And if the federal government wants to get their armies and come into our state and get your people out of jail, then bring it on. Texas is good at saying, come and take it. So I hope Texas leaves, because all it'll take is one state. And once that one state leaves and they see how prosperous it is and how much better it is and how they can actually make it without the federal government sticking their nose and ruining everything, other states are going to catch on. Now, believe me, the federal government is the last thing they want to have. They're going to give you 101 reasons on why states need the federal government. We have to stick together, and it's a national security, and we need each other, and we need to love and embrace, and we all should be whole. They're always talking this whole shit when they're pushing their agenda and getting their way. But as soon as it don't go their way, then all of a sudden, well, you know what, we got to take control. We got to come in and save you idiots from yourself because you don't know what you're doing. Man, you know what? Do you notice that all the illegals and all the refugees are not flooding to the liberal left, good welfare, sanctuary city states? Why is that? Why do they want to put illegals in Texas and they're busing them here and they're dropping them off here and they're sneaking planes in the night, doing treasonous shit with our federal tax dollars that we pay? They're flying planes and flying Muslims into airports at night and releasing them on the state and making the states give them free money, free housing, free electricity, free homes, Section 8 housing. Here's your food stamps. Here, they're getting better damn treatment than our vets, and nobody says a damn word. And people are like, Rick, you weren't upset enough about the Dallas cops getting killed. You were cold and you weren't upset. I'm upset every day about the way I see our vets. My set meters is pegged out. I'm tired of being upset. I want something to happen to stop our federal government. And so far, nobody has come up with a way to stop them. I hear all this talk. I've been hearing it for freaking 20 years. And I've watched the government grow and grow and ignore the people and pass more rules that step on freedoms and steal freedoms. And it continues. And then you got the idiots out there on the left saying, yay, more government, give us free stuff. Yeah, let's vote people who are going to give us all this free stuff. So what, the debt's $20 trillion. Let's make the debt $40 trillion. Yeehaw, give us all a raise. Freaking idiots. Okay, so states' rights, that could trigger it. Any egregious acts by the government or police that would shock the masses, like, I don't know, blowing up a suspect with a bomb. Oh, okay, that could come back and bite them, as the courts could say, you know what, that shocks the conscience of the court. The court likes to use that phrase when people do something so egregious. There was a case a long time ago, and I think it might have been the first case when this came out, where a guy tried to eat some dope, and a cop took his pen out of his pocket, and he shoved it down the guy's throat. He pried his jaw open, and he made him spit out, and he choked him and made him spit out the dope. And the courts went, you know what? It was destruction of evidence, it was exigency, and you saved the exigency, but you did it in such a manner that it shocked the conscience of the court, and we're going to throw it out because you did it so egregiously that it shocked our conscience. Now, when they blew this guy up, the courts may go, that was so egregious that you put a bomb in there and blew up a guy that you were talking to. That was so egregious, we think that shocks our conscience. The difference is, it's kind of like when we make an illegal arrest. We already got the guy in custody. If you find out that it was illegal, it doesn't matter. The government never lets people go because we arrested him illegally. Now, a judge or a jury or court can find him and do jury nullification and say, we acquit him, and they can let him go. But the government, as a rule, if I arrest somebody, if he's in a house and I don't have a warrant and I don't have exigency, and I go, you know what, I want your ass in jail, you piss me off. I go in there, I grab him, I pull out, I arrest him because he has an arrest warrant. They may say to me, you know what, you had no right to go in the house and arrest him, but you're in custody, you had a felony warrant, we're not going to release you go just because this cop did something he shouldn't. So they wouldn't do it. Now, a jury could come in and go, we're going to have jury nullification and let you go. They can do that. So, to shock the conscience of the court, if the government does something that shocks the conscience of the public, like shooting a woman holding a baby, shooting a baby, blowing up a guy holding a kid, if something like that happens, that could spark a movement that could go and get this revolution going in full bore. Because again, I already think it's happening. It's happening inch by inch as we speak. The government knows it, and that's why they're panicking, and that's why this push to get the guns, to control the people, to get more government people out there, to grow government, to grow police, to nationalize police, call for more officers so we can keep you safe. If we just had more cops, we'd keep you safe. If we just got the guns, you people would be safe. Just listen to us. We're government. We have all the answers. You idiots just need to listen to us. Oh, man. Let's see. All problems lead to government. Government's never the answer. And when government does have the answer, you know what it is? It's who to blame, more power, more control, and more taxes. That's government's always answers. If we can just get more taxes, we can have more control, we'll have more power, and if we can tell you who to blame and it's not us, every answer to every problem in government, if you pay attention, that's what they do. Okay, I already talked about the 1/3 support, supported against, and the 1/3 didn't care. Normally it takes 70-80% to overthrow a standing government, but when people are armed, it only takes about 33% or 1/3, has the first revolution proved. Our government is occupying over 120. Any revelation will have to be stopped by local police, local state government, local military. That's why I'm telling you this growth of people being armed is not a good thing. Government does not need 86 billion rounds of ammunition for the USDA meat inspectors, because when they're inspecting meat they have to train with their gun and do shooting. It just doesn't pass the smell test. It doesn't work. It's not needed. By government, they're doing several things when they do this. When government buys these mass amounts of ammo, guess what they're doing? They're creating a shortage. They're raising the price of ammo because of supply and demand. And anybody that got any schooling, I don't even know if they teach that anymore in school and shit. Supply and demand. The more something is demand, the less supply, the higher the price. When the government seizes or says, we're buying this much freaking, they don't buy anything. They buy it with money they stole from the taxpayers and seized. So they buy all this money. They raise the price of the ammo because they create a shortage. When supply goes down and demand goes up, prices go up. And that's basically supply and demand 101, and that's what the government does when they buy all this ammo. That's why ammo has increased almost 3 times as much. I mean, good God, if people that don't buy ammo, they don't see it, but I mean, you used to get ammos for pennies around, and now it's 25, 30, 50 cents a round. Some ammos as much as $5 for 1 round. You got some states out there taxing ammo by the bullet. If I buy a 50-pack of bullet, taxing the books isn't good enough. Taxing the sales tax isn't good enough. They put an additional tax on a box of bullets of 50 per round. You get taxed on each round. People can't see that government overreach. This is how they're doing gun control. This is how they're making gun ownership unaffordable. This is how they're reducing people that own guns because they can't afford it And over time and generations, less people will have it, less will afford it, and they can pass all the gun legislation they want, because when something doesn't affect the masses usually don't give a shit. So most people won't have guns, they won't care about guns, and they don't care if the government passes all kind of guns, making it illegal, because it doesn't affect me. Please go out and buy a gun, even if you don't want one, you don't like one. Put it as an investment. Shit, I'll buy it from you at 10% guaranteed, more than you pay in 10 years. Buy it and send me a receipt, and in 10 years, I guarantee you I'll give you 10% more than you paid. That's an investment, okay? Let's see here. Would your government bomb U.S. citizens on U.S. soil? Because if there was a revolution, and if the government was losing, if anybody thinks the government is going to say, you know what, the will of the people has spoken and the masses have pretty much told us they don't want us in charge, we should just do the right thing and walk away. If anybody believes that can happen, you're a liberal. Because that ain't never happening. So if anybody thinks the government will not bomb people on U.S. soil and U.S. citizens, you're crazy. Now, they're not going to call it citizens, and the media won't call it bombing citizens. They'll rename the citizens great-sounding names, like they named the Patriot Act the biggest seize of freedoms in the world, and they call it the Patriot Act, so people would know. Well, they're going to rename people that are standing up against government oppression and tyranny nice names like domestic terrorists, hate groups, people against the government, people threatening national security. That's what they'll rename them. They won't be citizens. They'll have these nice names attached, so the masses not paying attention will go, oh shit, as long as they're not bombing citizens, we're okay. They're only bombing the bad citizens. You big dummies. When you let government decide good and bad, they're always going to choose bad as whatever affects their power and control. Always. It's how government works. And I'm not being a crazy guy here. I'm just telling you, read history. Look at all governments. Power corrupts, absolutely. Our founders knew it. They tried to stop it. They gave us the tools to stop it. And what did we do? We let the government tell us how to educate our kids, and our kids are too stupid now to vote for freedom, so they vote for more government control. And they vote to give away freedoms and rights and free speech because it's hate speech or it stresses me. Or our guns are bad because they're guns, and we'll give up that right. And we'll give up the right to search and feel safe in our own property because the government needs to search, and if we're not doing nothing wrong, there's nothing wrong, we shouldn't fear the government. I mean, we've brainwashed our kids to be freaking idiots. Oh, mama, don't let your babies grow up to be liberals. Okay, so I think the government would bomb on U.S. soil. They would just call us domestic terrorists, hate groups, threat to national security, people doing treasonous acts. So the government is into open borders, flooding the country, and doing all this stuff. They're doing it to endanger us, and they do it to create fear. People that think the government cares about Muslim refugees, you're an idiot. They don't care about the refugees. They want to bring them in so they give the appearance of caring. So they can do a spot with them holding it. So they can get uneducated, idiot, brainwashed, liberal educated fools saying, oh, government is so good. Look what they're doing for these poor Muslim refugees. And they have no freaking clue the government's doing it with malice and intent to cause havoc, to bring in terrorists, to have more gun incidents, to promote the government agenda to say, look, in order to keep you safe, we need to get the guns. It's not because we brought these guys in that are shooting people. It's not because we're empowering Black Lives Matter, telling them killing cops is a good thing, you're right, and white cops are bad. It's not, that's not what, it's the guns. So just give us the guns, people. Government's creating the crisis so they can give you the false cure. And people just don't get it. In the next Revolution series, I'm going to talk about communication. It'll probably be a few days or a week. I have to do some notes and research, but on how government controls communication, how we're kind of screwed, and we'll end that there. So hopefully that helps. My pond got a little water the other night, and we'll end that there.